church.
Good morning.
I'm going to be reading from Mark chapter 12, verses 28 through 31. One of the teachers of the law came and heard them debating. Noticing that Jesus had given them a good answer, he asked them, "Of all the commandments, which is the most important?" "The most important one," answered Jesus, "is this. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your mind, and with all your strength. The second is this. Love your neighbor as yourself. There is no commandment greater than this." May God bless the reading of his word.
All right, so for our offertory today, we're going to show our urban plunge video, give you a little highlights of some of the stuff that happened on the trip. But it just came to me that the song that's with it isn't like a random song. It's really become one of RPM's like core songs, and it's been really meaningful to our trip. It's called "Counting on God," and just some of the lines is, "I want more. I want joy unspeakable that won't go away. I want just enough faith to live for today, so I never have to worry what tomorrow brings. I'm counting on God." So here's some highlights of the trip.
You ready?
Beautiful, and
You guys were singing, tap your feet, sketch tune. Hey, welcome to Urban Plunge Sunday. It's when the youth get to take over, just talk and stuff. Right? Yeah, good times, right? So I just like to give a little intro of what kind of we did, so that way when these guys share, it's more like how the trip impacted them or what they got out of it. But you guys all want to kind of know, well, what do you guys do on Urban Plunge 9, right? Our 9th time to Santa Cruz. So just so you guys know, our main goal for Urban Plunge is to give students just a broad range of different types of service, because we can't like do all one thing. We just do a lot of things. So every trip is different. You never know what kind of the flavor is, and kind of what opportunities open up. So this year we partnered again with Mission Springs and Frontier Ranch, and that's mostly because they give us room and board, and plus they really rely on us to set up their Frontier Ranch camp for their kids. So a lot of the kids from our church go there for the summer, and plus they've got hundreds and hundreds of kids that come every week throughout the summer to learn and grow in their faith. But they rely on us to set up the camp and to spread mulch and to set up all their places, their cabins and stuff, because it gets all trashed during the winter time. So we do that. This year we worked with Elm Street Mission and worked with the homeless there, and it's been a really fun partnership there. Our relationship with Elm Street has grown over the years, and we really love those guys down there. We did Santa Cruz Parks and Rec. So someone has to go and get their ball fields ready and rake their picnic areas, get their people enjoy the park and stuff. And the other park we worked with was Macau. What was that? Oh shoot, what's the name of that one? Henry Cowell State Park in Felton. Got really messed up it actually got flooded 3 times this year from all the rains and stuff, and put 3 of their picnic areas totally underwater 3 times because the river overflowed. So you can imagine the kind of mess that was. But people want to come out and enjoy God's creation at the state park all throughout the summer, and you wonder, well, who cleans up something when that happens? Well, it's these guys cleans it up. So it was pretty awesome, working in the goop and the mud and getting that all ready to go. And then we had some fun times too. We experienced another youth group down there, totally different type of church, Twin Lakes Church. Maybe somebody will share about that. We hung out with their youth group, and then we hung out at the beach, and of course, got some beach time. And so you saw some pictures of that too. So Urban Plunge Sunday, I like to open it up to these guys. You guys get to hear from me all the time, but I like to open the mic up to them. I don't know what they're going to say. Some of them prepared things, some of them haven't, and just are going to let God share through them. So I'm going to give them an opportunity to do that. So you guys are very gracious, right? Yeah, because it's crazy being up here. You know that. So I saw a movie last night, and the thing was 20 seconds of courage. It takes 20 seconds of courage to do something crazy awesome. So maybe that's what it takes for them to walk from here to here is 20 seconds. So, okay, here you go.
I did share last service, but I don't know if I'm going to share what I shared then. I just kind of at first I was just like, all right, what am I going to say? What am I going to say? I could just say what I was going to say then, and I was rewording everything in my head, and I'm just like, okay, whatever. Let's stop, let God, let the words flow, however that goes, which will probably end up being me saying what I said last service, but it might not be the same way. So, I'm Auburn. And when I first got to Urban Plunge, I was really bitter because of things that had happened before. And I was really angry, and the word that came to mind was cantankerous.
So, for us, it's like simple people, what does that word mean?
It's kind of like I was, yeah. Yeah, I was cranky. And there's no room for crankiness at Urban Plunge. There just isn't. It can't be there. They don't add up. So it's like, when I got there, I came late because I had to get my braces done that morning. So that was fun. But it wasn't too bad. It wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. And I was still really bitter for the first activity while we were cleaning up the cow park.
Yeah.
And it's like, part of me is a little bit thankful for that energy I was given from, my bad mood. Because the first day, it almost always seems like the hardest. It's like the first and the last day. It's like you're just getting used to it, and then you're dead at the end. So but it's like as soon as we got into the talking, God's just like, no, stop. It's time for you to let it go. And I did. I mean, yeah. So then the next day, right? Okay. So the next day I did my testimony, which didn't really have anything to do with it. And these are kind of two different matters. At first it's kind of like, let go of your anger, there's no point. There's no point in holding on to that, even if, I know what I'm going to say. So, while we were talking in the group, there was something that I brought up where it's like, even if you call your brother a fool, it's basically equivalent to killing them. So, and that mixed with, love your neighbor, which was part of the theme, and something that I had thought of, and I'm just like, even if there are tons of things in the Bible that justify how you feel and why you're right and why you should be thinking what you're thinking, there's still that one verse that's telling you, stop, calm down, what you're doing, you're basically killing your brother. And it's like it kind of puts us all on death row, which is sort of the point of God coming down and saving us. Because if we weren't allowed to be angry with our brother, well, that wouldn't go well for any of us, I'm sure. So that really impacted me, whereas even if there's nothing wrong with the way that you think, if you're justified by the Bible in every other way, but it's just the attitude. And that's what really sticks, is what everyone else is seeing. Because I was cranky. Everyone else was seeing cranky Auburn, who was not very happy and kind of scary. So, yeah, that's one point. And then the other one was, I did my testimony at Elm Street. And at that point, letting go of that anger, it had grown me closer to God, instantly. And at that point, I've always considered, telling my testimony to people to try and help something, but I was just so scared. But then, right then, I stood up there, I'm just like, I'm not scared at all. Because God was there. I knew it. I knew He was in me, standing next to me, standing with all the people around me. He was everywhere. And there was something that Deb said after my testimony, is that I was glowing. And I really, really appreciated that. I love that. Because recently I was feeling really down, and I thought back onto that time where God was there. It's like there's no words to explain other than there was sun shining on the... Yeah. It's like the sun was there and everything was light. And there's just this aura. And it's been confirmed by other people that I've gotten that aura before, and I think it's stuck because God's always here with me. It's not like I go back to Him every time I'm sad or angry or something. He's always there. And I'm so happy that He's always there, because if He wasn't, life would just suck. So I just really hope that everyone else can find that faith in God, that He's always there, no matter what you do, no matter how scared you should be, God's there. It's fear, don't need that. The only thing you fear is God, that's it.
So this was my first urban plunge that I've ever been to, and it definitely won't be my last, because it was just such a great experience seeing that I was doing God's work and helping out other people, like at the park or on Elm Street. And it was just really great seeing that I could do God's work for Him. Yeah.
So I'm Cody, and this is my fourth and final urban plunge of my high school place. And my brother's first urban plunge. And it was kind of a big experience to see the difference between us. Now, my brother Ryan is a good hard worker when he wants to. And when he doesn't, he won't. And before we got to Urban Plunge, he was sitting talking to me and asking me, like, how is it? How much work is there? Like, what will I get out of this? What's in it for me? And I just said, it's not about you, it's about the people that you're helping. It's about the lives that you change out there. And it's whatever you take out of it, and it's whatever you put in that you take out. And on day one, when we were doing the park, the state park, we were doing the wheelbarrowing and raking up leaves and stuff. He looked like he was on like day 3 of Urban Plunge on the first day, which kind of made me laugh a little bit, because I remember my first Urban Plunge. On day 1, I was the exact same way. I looked tired, I looked just not good. But by like day 2 or day 3, he got into the swing of things, and he got really, really, excited and pumped for it. And he worked harder and harder as the days went on, and it got easier and easier for him to work that hard. And when we were in the Elm Street mission, he was talking to me and sitting there and thinking, why did I do this? This was a horrible trip. Why did I pay money to go on this? Then what he told me was that when the sun came up and it shined perfectly up onto the stage when Dave was singing, it was like he knew God was there. He knew that this was the right thing for him to be doing. And he knew he was at peace at that moment. And I've been seeing this throughout the past 4 years. People have been changing because of Urban Plunge, and because of the grace that God gives us to go on these trips. It's just amazing to see the differences that it can have in people's lives. So, yeah.
Give me the love. You got the love. You guys will all get this later. Wait, I gotta pull up my pants. There you go. Hi, my name's Gilbert. I have no clue what urban plunge this is I've been on. Our kids just these little metal medallions. It's the only way I can keep count of what I'm doing. First thing I'd like to do is thank all the parents. Thank you for letting your kids come. Because you know what? They actually help us more than I think we help us. There's such a light in them. As we start out on these trips, half the time, we have things like what Auburn was talking about, or shyness, or, all those things that we bring with us. We try to encourage them not to bring their baggage with them. But we all bring baggage. As the trip goes on, guess what? That goes away. They get to watch the shy kids perk up. They get to watch the very boisterous people. They start to get the spirit. And in the end, we all get it together, which is really cool because, it's a spiritual trip for all of us. And I have to thank my peers, because my peers, help lift me up too. And we get to talk amongst us as adults, and we get to talk amongst the kids. We get all of that magic that God puts in our hearts. We get to see it. And so that's really a gift for us. And then, as we get forward, we also get the love. The love. They wrapped my car in saran wrap. I always seem to get the rowdy bunch. I don't know why that is. I think it's because I'm just a big kid, and so we do, those things that big kids do. I may never grow up, but maybe as I continue to watch these kids, maybe I will. And then I can be like Chance and Jessica, right? So thank you all for sending your children. Thank you for the love. I'd like to thank you all for being here and being a community that we all can see. Thanks so much.
Hi, church. I'm Steve. What I really gained from this being my first urban plunge as well, to see there was 17 wonderful young adults that went there. To see what they were prior to urban plunge, again, being my first year in RPM as well, I didn't have the real deep connection yet, and these young adults, they take and what they give, I should say, all the baggage that life had given them. They are able to go to this amazing place called RPM, let alone Urban Plunge, but they are able to release a lot of Satan's power, as I would call it, the junk that we carry. They leave it. They confess it. They talk about it. So I am very privileged to be a part of those wonderful lives that are changing and developing. God is building them up. And I'm just very thankful for them. I loved seeing how well 17 teenagers worked together on hard projects. And that really, really touched my heart. I am a person that works out with his hands every day. And to see these guys doing that really, sometimes at work I don't get that can't use the word, but the fellowship that they had, I was very impressed with them. I'm very thankful to be a part of it. And again, as Gilbert said, I do thank you parents that allowed your children to come with us. Thank you.
So I wrote down something on the trip and I wanted to read it. So it says, "To me, I can see God in nature a lot, especially in animals, insects, fish, and all that. There were so many worms at the camp cleanup spot at the park. I like to think about how God has created everyone special, even the worms, and I'm sure He has names for each one and loves them all. Another thing would be the worship that we do here. Because a loud music, you can hear every single one of our voices joining together to praise our God, and the wind that God used to help us with the leaves also. The amazing, unending energy that filled everyone to keep us going and working, and the joy. During the trip, there was everyone was so happy and there was so much joy. Everyone was just so loving and it never went away. It started from the beginning. God brought us out there and He stayed with us. I'm sure everyone here felt God there, at least at one point. I know I did it many times. I know He was there. And there were so many times where He stepped in and He helped. And it's not like He dropped us off and okay, do this, and then took us back home, but He was there through the whole entire trip with us, and He brought us back and stayed with some of us, and I still feel Him every day after the trip. I wrote down stuff to help. But there was so much energy throughout the whole trip. Everyone had energy and didn't stop. Everyone continued to keep working and they didn't complain and they were just getting it done. And with so many different people, it's everyone has their own different way of doing this. So I could do it this way, someone else does it this way. But no one had a problem with that. Everyone kind of did it the same way and they kind of agreed this is the best way. And I know I can be stubborn and be well, if my way works, I'm gonna do this even if it's not the best way. But everyone kind of did the same thing. So God was working through everyone there and helping us to work together. And that's it.
So I'm Amanda, and this is my first urban plunge. I thought of something to say, but I just forgot it, so I'm gonna wing it. When I first got there, we ate and then we went straight out to working. And the first day, I kind of didn't know where I fit in at all. I'm not very social at all. So the first day, I didn't know what to do, but the second day, I felt like I knew where I was, and I felt so happy when I worked. So the work was very hard, but it was very fun, and I felt like I could keep doing it on forever and stuff. So I have to say, I want to thank Dave because it was amazing.
So this is my second urban plunge, and I think it was probably the most memorable. I think my favorite time was we went to another church's youth group in Twin Lakes, that's what it's called. And Dave warned us that it's a city church, so it's going to be big. It's not like our church. And I was thinking, I think our church is pretty big. But when we went there, it's 4 times the size of this church. So I was like, oh my gosh. And the kids were amazing. We played so many games. It was so much fun. And at the end of the night, we got in a huge circle and we were going to do prayer. And so I was thinking, well, the prayer is probably going to be everybody's going to say their prayer request, and one person's going to pray, and then we're going to be see ya. But actually, each person, they would say their prayer, one person would say their prayer. And then the youth pastor there would say, all right, who wants to pray for them? And so someone would raise their hand and say, okay, I'll pray for that person. And then it just went around and around. And so then when we prayed, each person would say, okay, I pray for this person, and then you just go around and you would say prayer for the person that you wanted to pray for. And I just was so amazed that they just took us in and they were just willing to pray for each individual person. And I just found it so amazing. So, yeah.
My name's Allison. This is my second urban plunge. I'm actually kind of nervous to get up here. I was really spoken to through the scriptures that they read before we came up here, with the you need to love yourself and you need to love your neighbor, and that really hit me hard on this trip. And we were at, what was the park called? Harvey West. What? Harvey West. Harvey West. We were cleaning up my group, we were cleaning up the baseball diamond, making it actually like a baseball diamond. And afterwards, we were waiting for the rest of the group to come together so we could go to the next thing we were going to do. And I saw this homeless woman walking with only holy socks on, soap. And a couple of us were talking about, wow, that's really sad. And at first, I just ran a banana to her because she looked hungry. And then that's when I realized she had no shoes on. And other people were talking about, wow, I really wish I had an extra pair of shoes. And so I just took my shoes off and I ran and I went and chased her down and gave them to her. And that night at Sea Bright Beach, I gave my testimony on how you need to love each other as yourself. And in my life right now, that's kind of a difficult thing for me to do. There's a person over there that's treating me horribly, yet I still have to find some place in my heart to love them. And so I just wanted to share that with you guys. Thank you.
I brought the Bible because I was going to try to do it from memory and I thought I might mess it up. But the times that we had to, like at night, we would have a lesson and discussion together on the passage about, the first commandment is love God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength, and love your neighbor as yourself. And we got in some really great discussions on that, and a lot of back and forth, and the kids get really deep, and it's pretty awesome to see them do. And like you have seen, they really start bearing their hearts, which was really cool. It wasn't just philosophical, this was real. They wanted to live it. And one other neat thing is in the morning, except for the early morning when we go to Elm Street, the other 2 mornings we have our devos with God, our time alone with God. And I forgot to bring a piece of paper that I had that God just was really, I've spent a lot of time in the Word. I'm not a teenager anymore, and I've been a Christian since then. But just the way it was set up was super powerful, the things that were coming out in ways that we can love God and ways that we can love other people as ourselves. And I saw a lot of that in these kids while we were there, like Auburn shared about letting go of the bitterness and moving forward in forgiveness and growing in relationship and giving people that space to be who they are. Who was it? I don't remember. It was Summer talking about how, everybody has their own different way of doing things. And sometimes that can bring friction. And in this trip, it's awesome to see how they move beyond that friction and come to appreciate, oh, you're gonna do it that way, and oh, I do it this way. And each of us can maybe alter it a little bit, or each of us just throw our whole hearts into it, and with love, we can bring those ways together. That really showed to me at when we were doing the mulch, because we all had our own preferable way, because this is not like normal mulch that you get from a nice landscaping place. This was something that, they chopped up trees and there would be pieces like, that looks like firewood. And you can't just easily shovel that. So we all had our own ways. Landon and I were kind of more digging like dogs, because I was the only one I felt like I could move it without hurting my back. And helping each other carry things, but just seeing how God brought all those different ways together and made it like this smooth working machine. Because that's what we are as the body of Christ. We're all so unique, and sometimes we look at those differences and we're like, I don't like that, I'm not comfortable with that, that's not like me, it's not the way I do it. And God is always calling us further. And it's awesome to get to see it in action, like at Urban Plunge. And so I thought of this prayer that Jesus had right before he was crucified, his prayer for his people, for all believers. And he said, my prayer is not for them alone. I pray for those who will believe in me through their message, because he was talking about the disciples, that all of them may be one. Father, just as you are in me and I'm in you, may they also be in us, so the world may believe you sent me. I am them and you and me. May they be brought to complete unity to let the world know that you sent me and have loved them, even as you've loved me. And I'm thinking, you know, this is the last thing Jesus is praying with people before he's dying. This really matters. This is where the rubber hits the road. And when he says he's brought to complete unity, it's not because he doesn't appreciate our differences. He does. He made us with those differences. They have purpose. Just like in the body, Paul talks about, you know, there's the eye and the foot, and they do totally different things. And yet, they're meant to be smooth together as the Spirit brings that love in. And so I can't remember the passage, but I think it's in Peter. He says, above all, love one another deeply from the heart, because love covers over a multitude of sins. And those may be little things, like you said something that really irked me and you just weren't being really sensitive. They may be really big things. But love is what can cover that. And I love you guys. And I love seeing God work in you.
Hi, I'm Landon. I wasn't really planning to talk today, but you know, I've been in kind of a season of listening ever since Urban Plunge, and as it says in Ecclesiastes 3:6, I believe, there's a season to speak and there's a season to remain quiet, and that's a verse that just really hit me on Urban Plunge, like I think day 2, the second morning. But at the same time, there is also a time to speak, and I think there is something that God's putting on my heart right now, and it's something else that has really been repeatedly put on my heart since Urban Plunge, and it's about love. And our whole theme verse for Urban Plunge and for today about loving each other and loving God, it's about love. And I think a lot of times when we think about love, we don't really think about it in the right way. We think about love in almost a passive way. Like, if you liking somebody. If you like somebody, it's kind of like if you love somebody, right? Because it's sort of a feeling that you have, and it's sort of something that you can't necessarily control, right? But in reality, love is not that way. Love is action, and it doesn't really have to do with feeling. It's sort of like I say that I love somebody. In reality, it's that I am loving them. I am actively loving them, and here are the things that I'm doing to love them. And it's unconditional, because liking somebody is conditional. You have to have things that you like about them. But love is about you. It's about what are you doing to love them. One example that I've always kind of thought about is, let's see if I can remember this properly. So let's say that there's a boyfriend and a girlfriend, right? And the girlfriend sets up this whole thing. She spends weeks planning for the boyfriend's birthday that's coming up, and she does all these things to make it perfect, and she puts a lot of work in, and he's just like overwhelmed with emotion. He's so glad she did everything right, and he's like, I love you. And who's really showing love in that situation? I'm not saying anything bad about the boyfriend in that situation, but the girlfriend is the one that's really showing love, because she's the one that put in the work. Just saying I love you is not really loving somebody, right? It's more of a reminder that you love them, like I love you and I'm going to do these things to show that I love you. And so yeah, I think that's how we should love each other, is with our actions and put in the work. Even if you don't like the person, you can still love the person, because that's your choice, and that's the gift that God gives you, is the ability to love. So.
Yeah, Brian!
All right, good afternoon. You guys look sleepy. Come on now, wake up, let's go. All right. All right, so
You guys kind of know how it went. We got there, we did some service projects, then we went to Elm Street, did some more service projects, then we went home. At the Elm Street mission, we handed out food to homeless men and women. And there was one guy who kept coming back for food and seemed really, really hungry. So when I got kind of a break, I went and talked to him to see what happened, what's his story. And we got talking, and he said he's originally from Pennsylvania, and he came out to Santa Cruz a few times, and then he had a calling to move here. Drop everything, just move to Santa Cruz. So I asked him why. He said, well, in Pennsylvania, he had a very good job. He painted for the government, and he kept getting into temptations, and he had a lot of temptations that he couldn't overcome. And he believed that Santa Cruz was his safe haven where there would be no temptations. And at the time, he had no home, and he was living on the streets by the night. And I asked him, does your family know about this? And he says, I've stayed in contact with them a little bit, but they believe that I'm safe. So I said, you probably should call your family, let them know you're safe, even if you are sleeping on the streets. He said, I'll do that. But what really touched me was he moved all the way to Santa Cruz just to get away from temptations. How many of you would move across the country just to get away from a temptation? That's a lot of people. All right. So maybe you don't have to move across the country, maybe you can just learn. That's what I thought was very interesting at Santa Cruz. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. I'm going to tell you a quick story. I say this every year, and it happens every year, is that we're supposed to be going down to Santa Cruz and bless the people down there, and we're the ones that always get blessed. And that's the way God works. And so, before we even get to Santa Cruz, we stop at In-N-Out Burger and get some food and stuff. And sitting there eating some French fries, and the guy comes and sits at the bench next to me, and we start talking back and forth. He's asking me what's going on, what we're doing. So I explained to him what the kids are doing, that it's, they're taking a week from their spring break, go down to Santa Cruz and work hard or whatever. And he starts telling me about his brother. He goes, yeah, my brother, he went to school for 8 years to become a nurse, and then he just goes to all these places and helps all these people instead of making money. And I don't know why he does that, And so he starts telling me about, my brother went to, New Orleans for Hurricane Katrina and Ethiopia and Japan to help all these people. And then he's telling me the story, and then all of a sudden he just stops. And it looks like he's getting ready to cry, and he goes, maybe I should be doing more like that. And it's just like, wow. It's just like this story that guy just told me was exactly, what we should be doing. And, this is my 7th urban plunge out of 9. It's going to be my last trip with the youth because Landon's a senior, and I'm going to be done with the youth group after this. And I think about all the years that I've been here, since '98. And I've been working in Sunday school and Awana and junior high and RPM. It's just like watching all these kids, like Pastor Jeff's talking about Caroline, and just the things that these kids have done and grown up. And we got 2 right here that just got married. That just like watching them. It's just like, that's what it's all about. And it's like, I'm a firm believer that if you got kids over in Sunday school or over in Awana or upstairs in junior high or high school, you should be up there helping. I mean, it's just plain and simple. I'm not going to try to beat around the bush. You should be up there helping. I don't care if you're up there one night a month or, one night every 2 months or whatever. Your kids need you over there. The kids that you don't even know need you over there. Think about that. And I hear the story sometimes from some parents about when I ask them to come and help with RPM, and they're saying, oh no, I can't come up there and help with RPM. My kid's up there. My kid wouldn't want me up there. It's just like, come on now. I can tell you this right now. I go to RPM on Thursdays. Me and Landon, we drive there. Landon goes his way, I go my way. I don't talk to Landon for the whole night. And Landon, we get back in the car, we go home, and then we talk about our night on the way home, what happened. So if you think you're gonna embarrass your kid, I can tell you right now, that's not gonna happen. And if you got a kid that's up there, I just encourage you, go up there on a Thursday night. Go up there and stay for 15 minutes, and I bet you if you're there for 15 minutes, you're gonna stay the whole night. I guarantee it. But my encouragement to you is that you're going to probably want to come back the next week. And then you're going to be hooked, and then you're not going to be hooked. then you're going to really be in trouble, and then God's going to be working in you, and then you're going to be going, wow, what have I been missing all this time? Just think about it. So, but I just encourage you all that if you got kids that are participating in any part of this church, just step in there and see what's going on. You think about this. Most of you probably let your kids go to public school, and you don't see them for 8, 9, 10 hours. You have no idea what they're doing. You have no idea, for the most part, what they're being taught at school, what they're learning at school, or anything like that. This is your chance right here where your kids are in this area. You can come. You can be a participant. You can learn what they're learning. You may be able to teach somebody something that God wants them to know. So I just encourage you guys all, and for the people that aren't in these empty seats, you guys will see them next week. Remind them the same thing. So thank you.
Yeah, Landon's over there trying to figure out how he can flunk homeschool right now. Right, then Mark has to stick around to the meeting. I want to say I appreciate Mark. I appreciate our adult leaders. They are phenomenal. All of our RPM leaders went on this plunge this year, which was pretty cool. Sandy pointed that out, and I'm like, yeah, that's right. We had everybody there. So I'm surrounded by a great team. It seems like every year God pulls together just an amazing team of adult leaders, and I just couldn't do it without them. So thank you guys for that. It's 12:10. These guys, they have tons of stories. I would say if you guys want to pull them aside, they're all here for you. They'd love to share some more and to do that. So I don't know, Jeff, what do you want to do? You want to do me? What am I going to do? Yeah, I think we should just wrap it. It's like we all got places to be, and these guys want to share, and I'll always keep talking if you want. Sit down, Pastor Dave.
Sit down.
The rest of you stand up. Okay. Receive the benediction.